Hey everyone, it's the Detroit Gamesters. It's Arjun. We're back in business. I'm here with my partner, Shamir.
What up, everybody? It's been about 3 weeks. Hope you guys are all enjoying your fall, staying out of the cold, going to some haunted houses. Hope everyone had a good Halloween.
Yeah,
Arjun, did you
I
dress
did.
up at all?
I did. I went in a onesie. I went in a Lilo and Stitch. I was in a Stitch onesie. What
But
about you?
have you watched the Stitch movie?
I have not yet. I've not watched
Bro,
the live
how
action
are
of the
you
movie.
going to go in a
I,
Stitch onesie and not
I,
dress up and not watch the movie?
funniest thing, the first thing that came to my mind is like, oh, I know Shamir and Julie love Lilo and Stitch. I'm getting a Stitch onesie. That's like the first
Oh
thing
my
that came to my
gosh.
mind.
It was a really good movie, I'm not gonna lie, even though everyone hates on it, but I'm just too much of a fanboy. I was super lazy. I was busy working, so I just rummaged around the house to look for anything. So I I took my Microsoft helmet that you got me, and then I got
That's really
the
funny.
Xbox jacket. And I just wore that out. We get to go to Michigan Central Station, which is actually pretty cool. They lit it up and everything.
Yeah.
I actually had like a couple people like shout me out and be like, "Oh my God, it's Master Chief!"
Did they?
Yeah,
That's
although it
cool.
was really miserable walking around in that helmet. So
Oh, I can
because like
imagine.
a bobblehead. So I'm never gonna do that again.
At least you tried it, so.
Right, right. And I guess it's fitting because we're definitely going to be talking about Halo and Microsoft this time around. So,
Ta-da-na-na.
right. So, all right. I guess we can catch everybody up with what we've been up to.
I'll
Uh,
start first. I have not played a single thing for the last 2 weeks because I've been so busy.
bro,
So
why are you adulting so hard, man?
I was on such a good streak with Doom: The Dark Ages, especially now with my ROG at Xbox LIX, and I'll just say this just to give impressions on it because I forgot I did get that, and I didn't get to talk about it last time. Is I love this thing. It plays well. The software's a little janky. The OS, the UI, they're going to improve on that over time. Some minor quirks like with the updates and the way things happen. Like I did. They said an update was available. I said okay, I accepted it, and I started updating a bunch of apps I didn't need, like calculator, alarm,
Oh,
all
it's
this
so
stuff.
annoying.
I was like, come on, guys. But overall, I think playing the games on there, I did two things. I tried two tests. One was I've been playing Doom: The Dark Ages via cloud, and I've been playing. I tried playing Ninja Gaiden natively by downloading it through Game Pass, and I think they're both great. So there's someone online that's made a website that shows you the types of profiles you should use while playing your games to get the best bang for your buck in terms of performance or quality when you play it. So he's putting in a lot of effort. I've been following that. Game runs very smooth. The controls are great. It feels ergonomic. I love the screen size. I think a lot of games are really made for 720p to 800p on this. I don't think the 1080p display was really needed, in my opinion. But you know what? It is what it is, and that's probably a little costing a little bit of that price there. But I think overall, both cloud and that I've had not very little issues with cloud. There was one session out of like six where I got some latency issues, some interrupts, and the streaming started breaking up. But overall, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it works well for what it is. And I think that being part of Game Pass is like a great benefit. So I've been enjoying it.
So I know you're more into the techie stuff and understanding specifications and all that stuff. So with that said, I know it's early impressions for you. You haven't played a lot, but do you feel like on a hardware and software level, this came in at your expectations, below expectations, above expectations? I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting that much, and I think some people were really expecting like a portable Xbox. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of wondering where you're at with that.
Yeah, I still need to be a little more integrated in the ecosystem because I need to try games that are Xbox Play Anywhere. Now, supposedly some of the advanced features like advanced shader delivery were supported at launch. So should help a ton of games being optimized from the get go. But I need to play more to like see if that makes a difference. And then there's going to be more updates to enable like super resolution, like I think past 2026 with some of the hardware that it's capable with. It has specific silicon to enable things similar to DRS. So I think I'm just gonna have to play a handful of games and get my hands really dirty with it. Right now, I just can't say because I haven't played enough.
A little too
But
early.
but what I will say is, again, this kind of goes back to Windows and how bloated it is. The difference they made in the changes to the UI and subsidizing and taking out a lot of the processes has really helped. So you get extra RAM to play now with your games, but it's still an issue because someone had a test comparison where they downloaded Bazite, which is that Linux OS capable or compatible layer that you can download onto this device. And dude, you get significant gains still, which is
Yeah.
crazy, which still
I mean,
tells you Windows
I
isn't
mean, I
optimized
expected it
yet.
as much, right? Like,
But
I
I don't want to
if I th-
download this and
if
play
I
Linux games.
if I guesstimated, I'd probably say it has to be like 15 or 20%. Like,
Yeah, like so there was games that were running. Okay, so the OG Xbox LIX, sorry, the OG ROG LIX without this update was I forget what game, 30 frames per second, The new one 40 to 45, and then with Bazite was like 50 to 60. And I'm like, dude, this is like
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on like what you value, right? Because like if you want Bazite and all that stuff, like why are you even buying this in the first
Yeah,
place, right? Like you should
exactly.
just get a Steam Deck,
Yeah,
right?
Steam Deck.
So I mean, I get that like comparison. It's like, oh yeah, this is good, but not really that good. But like the whole reason you're even interested in
Yeah.
that is to have the flexibility of Windows, right?
Exactly. Flexible Windows, I have easy access to Game Pass and I can play my native games. And I do think one day in the future, they will have some sort of forward compatibility or translation layer that will allow me to play my old Xbox games. I
Yeah, they're
really do feel
definitely
like
going
that
to
will
do
happen.
some sort of emulation, right?
Yeah.
And I guess this kind of jumps into some of the news, right? Where what's her name? It's Sarah, right?
Sarah Bond?
Sarah Bond. She basically was hinting that, if not directly saying, that the next Xbox is going to be basically the ROG Ally X, but in a console form,
Yeah, in a
right?
weird way.
And so, and if they're going to do that, they have to figure out the emulation in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, and then do you feel like from the hardware standpoint, like it was
It was an
what you
improvement.
expected?
It was an improvement. So I had the ROG Ally X, and then I upgraded to this. I think having this with the little sensitive triggers that mimic the Xbox controller, as well as the little ergonomic sticks, like the handles, I think it is a significant improvement. Like I can legitimately now not play with my hands cramping up.
Do you think all handhelds should be like that?
Yeah, I really do. It looks ugly as hell as
It
sin.
looked so weird when I
Yeah,
first saw it, but everyone's saying they really like it. And even though it's heavier, they're saying that the weight distribution is great,
it was really great. I'm surprised at how not heavy it is for how heavy it looks.
right?
So yeah, I think they did a great job with that. They nailed it.
I guess the last question, and I guess this is a subjective thing, right? When we're talking about value, but $1,000.
I mean,
What do you think?
I think they know that with what they're putting out now, they're not subsidizing it because they know they're not really putting out their own native games, which means that any game that's purchased on this right now has to be from a third party store where they lose a bit of the cut. So most people are probably downloading games from Steam or other launchers, not really the Xbox PC store and whatnot. And I think in the future, if they decide to do an Xbox handheld, they're going to have to go all out and make this powerful enough. I don't think technology has caught up quite yet, like battery density, along with like our APUs. And I think,
Yeah, because none of these have solid state, right? Like, isn't
yeah,
that and, like phones barely have that? But that would be a huge, huge advancement, right?
so they do have flash memory here, but like your battery still only lasts for maybe an
No, but
hour.
like, don't they have like the solid state batteries now? Like,
Yeah,
isn't that
yeah.
like a
So
new
that's
thing?
sorry, you
So
meant
they
solid
can be
state
like more
batteries.
compact.
Yeah, and that's something that's still being researched. And if that comes into play, you'll get way more playtime. Like right now, for a heavy intensive CPU intensive or GPU intensive game, 1 hour, 1.5 hours,
No.
which is still not ideal. Like if I was on a long flight or a bus ride that's like 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours, which is common, it's typical. I'm not going to be able.
Yeah.
So there's improvements that need to be made. I don't think it's worth 1,000, but like 800. When I got the ROG Ally X, that was 800. So I really wish it was 800.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually considering getting one. Like, I have the original, right? And I got the God. I get so confused with these stupid names. Just the ROG X.
Yeah.
Not even
No,
the
you had
X.
this stuff.
No, I just had the ROG Ally
Yeah.
Z1 Extreme.
Yeah.
So real old school. And I got an open box when it I think about 2 years ago. Got it for like $400, which I thought was like a pretty good deal at the time,
Yeah.
right? And so for me, when I just think about it, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a better experience. But like, is it $600 more better? And it's like, especially if in 2 years they're going to come up with
Another one.
something new,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm like, oh, it's going to feel outdated by then, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't know if the value is going to hold, right? Because like the Switch, it still retains its value, right?
Yeah.
Like MacBooks retain their value, but like this is not going to retain its value.
I will say this, maybe, and I just got lucky because I just sold my ROG Ally X. I got almost like 90% of what it was worth, so it didn't drop and depreciate.
Has it even been out for a year?
It was out for like a year and a half to 2 years.
Okay,
So,
I thought it was out for less time than that. Wow, okay.
yeah, so I got lucky, but you're right. Like if you're on the fence at this point, you might as well wait to see what next generation looks like. Because if they do their own handheld, then then it's when it's worth it.
And I guess this kind of ties into another thing. Man, I feel like cloud streaming has gone so much better than I expected.
Yeah.
So I did a similar test, and I guess this will go into my impressions for Ninja Gaiden 4. So I played Ninja Gaiden 4 both cloud streaming and natively, right? And for whatever reason, I haven't figured this out, but there's a glitch on my ROG where I'm trying to load the native application for Ninja Gaiden 4 and it just doesn't load like 80% of the time. It's really annoying. But when I was finally able to get it to run, absolutely the native version is way better. But man, the cloud version is totally playable.
Yeah.
The image is soft,
Yeah.
and definitely there's like anti-aliasing and all those artifacts and stuff. But honestly, I don't mind playing it. And like, it's so annoying to download your game
Yes.
and update it
And
and
then
all
not to
those
be able to
things.
play it.
And the nice thing about the cloud streaming is now, like, the initial wait you had,
It's
where
so small.
it's so small. You're like 20 seconds to log in,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to before, like when it was bad, it was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And so I did not mind it at all. And mind you, like, Ninja Game 4 is a pretty fast paced game. And
Yeah.
like, I was able to beat like some of the harder bosses, at least in the beginning, and I was fine. But obviously, like, I'm still better if I'm playing natively.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I would say, like, I'm probably like 85% as good as like how I normally am.
Sure.
And for a lot of the game, like, that's fine. Like, I'm
Yeah.
getting by.
For a game like that, you would probably want to play it natively because of how fast
Right?
paced. But
the thing is, like, I wanted to test that. Like, I wanted to test the games that demand like
precision, timing.
And then I played Doom: The Dark Ages. I don't know how your experience has been if you've cloud streamed it.
Yeah,
Mine was good, but there were times where I would like lose a frame here and there,
Yeah.
and then I would miss a shot, right? And it would be like just a little laggy. And so I would play Ninja Gaiden 4 most of the game on cloud. I don't know if I would play Doom
I've been
because
playing Doom the whole time on cloud.
and it's been fine for you.
A couple hitches, but for the most part, it's been fine.
Yeah.
90%
I
fine.
guess for me, like, those hitches can get really annoying in
Yeah.
Doom because like one hitch could mean death, right? And
Sure.
like in Ninja Gaiden 4, like, it kind of can mean death, but not always, you know.
Yeah.
But in like that one, someone just comes up behind you, you're screwed,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So, but no, I've been really impressed, and I there was a huge tangent, but the reason I bring it up is because honestly, like, do I need all that raw horsepower? You know, if I'm just going to cloud stream.
It's so convenient to just start the game up through cloud, not have to download shit. Start wherever you save from because it syncs cross cloud, and like you can play on your Xbox and then immediately go on cloud.
So I'm kind of in this weird place, and I wonder if other people feel this way online, where the original ROG Ally actually seems like a good deal to me because it's like, you know, they had that Logitech G Cloud streaming thing, which was like $200-300, but it's only streaming, right? And this is, I'm sure you can find those really cheap, right? Like the ROG originals. So it might be around that price, if not a little more, and you can stream, and you know, that'd be great. And then you can still actually run some stuff natively, right?
So I feel like this is kind of where we're getting to that territory where you just said, do I need to play games natively? Probably not, which is why the proposition of the PlayStation Portal is so tantalizing. It's less than $200.
Yeah.
You can just play your game over in your living room, and then you swap over to your
Well, I
bed.
don't know
or
if
other
they
room.
fixed it where like now, even if you're not at home, you can stream all. Because I remember you couldn't
can.
pop up the internet browser originally, and it was like really annoying
so they
to be
made
able to connect.
changes. They made changes to it, but I guess we'll just tie this in really quickly because the PlayStation Portal just got an update, which has made it more tantalizing now. Select if you have PlayStation Premium, so you have to pay for a subscription just like Game Pass. Select digital games you own will now be streamable through their cloud, so their servers. So you don't have to connect to your PS5; it'll just stream them through their cloud.
Thank God, yeah. I mean, I'm happy they did that. I feel like that should have been there originally, but for me, and I guess this might seem like kind of a small thing to be all nitpicky about, but the fact that they wouldn't let you really just use whatever fucking headphones you wanted, and you know, the proprietary stuff, which is just like, okay, I can like turn a blind eye to a certain level of greed, and like, you know, I'm like, okay, gamers just kind of freak out over stuff. It's like, just buy it, you know, just enjoy it, you know, stop freaking out. But when like Sony does those scummy moves, I'm just like, dude. And like, I remember it really pissed me off when, like, you know, way back before Microsoft bought Call of Duty, you know, Sony had clearly won. And they had, you know, a specific, I think it was Zombies mode on one of the Black Ops. And it was like a 1 year timed exclusive for just a mode. And I'm just like, why? Who is going to buy this on PlayStation instead of Xbox just for this? And like 1 year, like next Call of Duty is coming out a year. Like, it's just, you know, it just seems like, I don't know. And it's not like it's just Sony. Everyone does anti-gamer stuff. But for some reason, like, that just really pisses me off because I'm just like, why can't you just let me use any Bluetooth headphones? So I think for that reason alone, I just refuse to buy it.
Well, I mean, we already know too that Sony is working on their own handheld that can play games natively. Whether it's PS5 or 6, I don't know, but that'll be interesting to see this next generation and how everything launches because we're so close. So
I really wonder what that's going to look like. It's going to be an interesting next generation. But not to get too distracted off point. So I think I wanted to go over some of the stuff I play too, and then we can get into some of the breaking news stuff. I've actually been gaming a lot. I think I was telling you that like I feel like I'm not really gaming much. I'm kind of just doing other stuff, and I knew this month, like this last month, I was going to be gaming a lot. So I beat two games, and I've kind of sunk my teeth into two more. So going over the games that I beat. So the first one was Keeper. Man, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this game. I would actually rate it like an 8 out of 10, but I can see it swing anywhere from a 7 to a 9. It is just a very strange game, you know? I won't spoil too much of the game, but there later in the game there are significant like gameplay variations that happen. And so because of that, like it doesn't feel as stale the whole time. And I think that was very much so needed because if I was basically doing all I saw in the trailer the whole time, I would be like, oh my God, I can't do this. But the game, it's like the designers had a pretty good sense of when you're getting bored with something, how to mix it up, right? Like kind of how Astrobot was doing it, like, oh, you're getting bored of this. Okay, let's switch it up. So like, you're walking around as a tower, the lighthouse, and all of a sudden now you go through this pink, cloudy stuff, and now you're like flying in the air, right? And so they varied that. I like that. Now, where I have a kind of hiccup with the game is you could clearly tell that at a certain point in the game development of this game, they had to make a conscious decision. And either they were going to stick to their original vision and make it more of almost like an art project, right? Or they could have made it a more traditional game that was more marketable. And they chose to make it more of an art project. And I respect them for that because they were able to fully realize their vision. I kind of feel like I would have enjoyed it more if they had made it more of kind of your standard game, right? And so I feel really weird about that, right? Because I want to applaud anyone where they really double down on their creativity, and this is one of the most creative things I've seen in a long time. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I like the type of stuff that you see in Psychonauts, right? Like where you can die, where you actually have to beat opponents, right? You can level up some of your abilities, right? Like, you know, it's basic and but like I don't know, it just rounds out the game more. And so even though they varied things enough that it didn't feel like a walking simulator the whole time, I was left thinking, man, I wish they kind of beefed up some of those gameplay elements and made it more like Psychonauts. So I think that's why I leave it with an 8, you can't die in the game, right? Yeah. And so you can imagine if you're playing a game where you can't die, there's no real failure. So I don't know. Do you think you're gonna check it out, Arjun?
Probably not.
Not for you.
My goal right now is to hopefully within the next couple weeks beat Doom: The Dark Ages over Thanksgiving break.
Oh Lord.
Then really speed run Ninja Gaiden and then play Pokemon Legends.
I'm surprised you didn't want to jump right into Pokemon Legends.
I've stuck to this other bullshit and I'm gonna go through it.
I love your determination. So I guess that's what I have to say about Keeper. In closing, the last thing I want to say, if this was the only thing they were working on and I had to wait like 7, 8 years, right, then I think I would be disappointed. But because I know Double Fine is cooking up multiple projects at the same time, like to me, it was like a nice diversion. It was like a different meal. And I'm like, okay, now I want to see what they cook up next. And to me, that studio is resembling kind of what Rare used to be in the 90s, right? It's like they're just coming up with these ideas and just generating them, and sometimes they're wacky, sometimes they're not wacky. It's just whatever works, right? So I'm curious to see what else they do. Second game I beat recently was Hades 2, and yeah, I think right now that's on the front runner to be my game of the year, which I did not expect. Oh man, that game is so addicting, and I beat the lower levels, and then I went to the and I think I had beat that last time I was here for the podcast. So this time I was just focusing on the upper levels, and they kind of varied up the gameplay a little bit. Where instead of just having like one path, like kind of like your roguelites, you kind of had some more flexibility in like the paths you took, which was kind of cool, and it was still pretty epic. Final boss was a bit of a letdown, but still pretty good. Beat it on my first try. So, but no, that was epic fun, man, and Yeah, I don't know if people are sleeping on Hades 2 right now. I feel like I'm not hearing people talk about it as much.
I
But
mean,
man, that game really delivered.
next month is the Game Awards. I can't believe we're so close to it, but we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like Hades 2 is going to get a lot of representation there, but I think everyone's going to vote for Claire. I think that's kind
Yeah,
of like the darling right now, and I think it's going to sweep. I feel like overall, probably 70%, 60 to 70% of the awards are going to go to Claire.
yeah, I could see it.
So, but yeah, Hades 2 is good. I think it definitely deserves like it's 9 out of 10. 10, I don't know, but 9 out of 10 for sure. And then kind of giving you some of my impressions on some of the other games I played. Which one do you want to talk about first? Pokemon Zod, Ninja Gaiden.
Educated.
Okay, so Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gay. Yeah.
So I kind of have it's interesting. So I overall am underwhelmed by Ninja Gaiden 4, and for Pokemon Za, it's better than I expected. So
Nani?
right, yeah. So Ninja Gaiden 4, the gameplay is good. You can tell that it's kind of a hybrid between Platinum and Team Ninja, and it seems like an obvious thing to say. And I kept hearing it in the previews, but now that I've played it quite a bit, like I understand what it means, right? So it feels like you're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, but on 1.5 times the speed. So everything
Hmm.
feels faster, and you're like moving like horizontally quicker. And so because of that, that subtly changes up the flow. And these new Raven abilities are really different. And so when you add in like how you're blocking and you're adding in your Raven abilities, it does kind of fundamentally change a lot of the Ninja Gaiden like feel. I think the reason it still feels like Ninja Gaiden overall is because you have like those iconic moves like the Azuna drop. I think it's like I don't know. It's like when you leap forward, you cut off the person's head. Oh, I forgot the flying swallow. I think it is. And so because those moves are there, or like the move where like the enemy will grab you and explode and do a lot of damage, like it has the like DNA of Ninja Gaiden, but I don't know, maybe I'm too much of a purist. Like it's objectively a good action game, but I enjoy the action more of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Like I think I would have wanted like a refresh Ninja Gaiden 2 Black that had a better camera, as opposed to kind of like a hybrid of Platinum and Team Ninja. That's my preference. Uh, but overall, the game is objectively very good and very fun.
Cool.
I'd give it an 8 so far. I beat like 2, 3 bosses. Boss battles are pretty cool, but I don't know, man. Maybe I overhyped myself, but I
What
was just
difficulty are
expecting
you
more.
playing?
Playing the normal.
That's probably why. This is a game that's meant to be played on a harder difficulty.
So you know why I didn't play on the harder difficulty?
What?
So I was looking at all these YouTube videos and like Destins, and they were like, "Dude,
Oh,
Ninja
dude.
Gaiden 4 is hard."
You're such
And
a
then they were
bitch.
like, "I played the old Ninja Gaidens on hard, and this one's hard. Play it on normal. The normal now is a hard back in the day." So I played it, and yeah, maybe you're right because I feel like the checkpoints are so frequent. I get all my health back, so I'm
Yeah,
kind of like
it's too
I
easy.
don't have to like master the game in the same
Yeah,
way. So I just haven't been enjoying it the same. And like the graphics are good, but they're not like mind blowing. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I mean I'll play it, but I think like it's not like fiery hot, like, oh my god, I have to beat this.
Yeah, yeah, we were hyped for it at the beginning of this year, so it seems like a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. But that's not 8 out of 10 is not necessarily like a terrible thing, right? Like
No,
I think like the open critic score reflects where this game could be, and like you can always try and like revitalize a franchise and completely fail, right? And so like as much as we all want everything to be a 9 out of 10, like honestly, if you give me an old franchise that's been dead and gone for a while and it comes back and it's an 8 out of 10 objectively across the board, I'll take it.
yeah.
And it's kind of sad to say, but that's like where my expectations are, right? We're like so many revitalizations and like what are we're talking about Halo, we're talking about Witcher, like all this stuff, Pokemon. Like how many times have people try to like bring something back and they just don't stick the landing? Like I'm good with average.
No, I agree with that. It's just I think we were overhyping it. Like
Yeah.
we had high
Oh,
expectations because when we saw it in January,
oh man,
we're like, oh shit,
my
and,
mouth dropped. I was like, oh my god, this
yeah,
is insane. So you're right. You're right. I expected so much when I saw it, but it's just one of those things you never expected. And
yeah,
like I think in a way that did it some disservice because like for instance, like everyone talked about Final Fantasy VII remake for so many years. So then when they finally did it, you're just like, I can't believe this is reality,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so
And then it's a bit of a letdown
how can you
afterwards.
ever follow that up? Like whenever Half-Life 3 comes out,
It's gonna be a letdown a little
It's
bit.
gonna be a letdown because there's no way
Yeah.
that like it's a fantasy. It's like a
Yeah.
dream at this point where you don't think it'll actually ever come into
Yeah.
existence. And when it does, like it's never
And-
gonna be the same.
And you don't have actual real expectations. Like it's, I don't even want to say unrealistic. It's like you don't know what the game you want it to be or what it should be. So when it comes out, you're like, oh, this is all it is. It just kind of the physics are a little better, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's like, okay, if I wanted a new Uncharted game to come out, like I kind of have an understanding of what that's going to be like,
Yeah.
right? But if now all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're going to remake Chrono Trigger,
yeah,
I'm like, what is that even going to be
yeah. What
like?
does that
You know,
look
and it's
like?
like, I have a fantasy, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just so nebulous.
I mean, it's actually smart that they came out with like Half-Life Alex because that was using a new medium,
Yeah.
so that felt fresh and
That was
exciting.
smart. That was smart,
But
yeah.
when it's just a first-person shooter with some advanced, like I said, physics and some advanced gameplay mechanics, it's not really innovating or really doing anything crazy. So
Yeah. So, and that's how I think, like, for God of War, it worked because, like, you kept your DNA, but you tweaked enough of it,
Yeah.
right? That, like, it felt like a different product,
yeah,
right?
that I agree with.
So they
That was
nailed
right.
that. So that's how I feel about Ninja Gaiden. And then I guess the one I really have been wanting to talk about is what I left last is Pokemon Za because
Pokemon Pizza.
honestly I think and people might think I'm crazy,
You're
but
crazy.
my 3 favorite games so far this year have been Hades 2, Avowed, and Pokemon Za. And like I'm not playing Ghost right now.
That's crazy.
I'm not playing Ninja Gaiden. I'm not playing all these things. So I'm enjoying Pokemon Za so much, and I did not expect to enjoy it this much. So, so I'm in this probably small minority camp where I hated Legends Arceus. Like I could not Arceus. I could not.
That's how you know he's not a real Pokemon.
I couldn't beat it. Like for so long, I had to force myself back into it, and it was painful. And I was just like, I don't know why people like this game so much. And for me, I think I don't know how everyone else is with their Pokemon games, but I've actually never really liked catching Pokemon. Like, I don't care for it. I don't care for collecting Pokemon. I just care about, like, getting a boss team, like, training them
Same.
until they're killers and decimating everyone. And I will only feel accomplished if the Elite Four is challenging, you know? Like, that's what I want. So, like, when I'm like, oh, filling out my Pokedex, getting shinies, like, I don't care, you know? That's not me. And then I don't want to do all the competitive stuff because it's going to take over your life. And then EV training and all this stuff, like, it's not worth it, you know? So it's like, I just want, like, hard boss battles, hard trainers, hard, you know, Elite Four, and then it's fun. And so that's why I didn't like Legends Arceus because I was like, the battling here is lame, right? Like, there is. I can sleep through half the battles, right? And so, like, what am I playing this for?
Yeah, I will
the
agree.
only hook I had was it's cool to see like some of these old school forms of Pokemon. The catching was kind of interesting, but like also kind of straightforward, you know. So it just wasn't for me, but I could understand why people love the vision of it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I've yet to start the game. I definitely will. Like the thing they announced today was the new DLC expansion. So story expansion, $30. It comes out December 10th.
Man, that's kind of expensive.
Yeah, it comes out December 10th. I don't know how hefty it's going to be. Is it going to be a 3 hour story expansion? Is it going to be 10 hour, 5 hour? I have no idea. If I had to guess, it's going to be about 5 to 7 hours. But they're introducing new megas. They already showed off a mega for Baxcalibur, so that's getting a new mega.
Oh, that sounds sick.
And a mega for Chimecho. That looked really interesting as well.
What's a Chimecho? Is that like the?
It's from
the windmill, like the wind thingy.
Yeah, from Gen 2. So it's at Mega look good, but Baxcalibur, I'm kind of surprised because that's a Gen 8, Gen 9. It's so recent.
Yeah.
And it's already a pseudo legendary. It's already broken. It's like, come on, you're giving this a Mega.
Well, I was actually just watching a YouTube video where they were like, the last generation was trying to like hype up Ice because Ice has been garbage for so long. So maybe that's why they wanted to make him like, you know, a Mega, because what other good Mega Ice type is there?
Only maybe Glalie? I don't even know.
Is there a Mega Sneasel? Is that a thing?
No.
Yeah, so like what is there?
Yeah, so there's nothing. So I found it interesting because Baxcalibur, it's cool. It has a sword literally going through its stomach to its back, and it looks like the Excalibur sword.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it has like a beard now of like ice and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this looks really cool. But they showed off like you go into a different dimension. There is like a story there. They brought back a gym leader from X and Y, so they're bringing back some familiar faces.
Hey.
Again, is it going to be worth $30? I don't know. I highly doubt it.
So I bought the expansions for Sword and Shield. I did not get the ones for Scarlet and Violet. I might get these ones honestly, and I think that goes to show you like how I feel about these games. I know a lot of people who hated Sword and Shield. I really love Sword and Shield, but keep in mind I missed everything from Diamond and Pearl
Yeah.
to like Sun and Moon. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm back into Pokemon,
Yeah.
guys, and they have Steel Fairy types. What is
Yeah.
this? This is crazy, right? So I actually really enjoyed it. But I get why people who have been with Pokemon the whole time they don't like it. It makes sense. But like when I was like looking at, oh man, look at these like three legendary birds and other like kind of variants of that.
Yeah,
That's
that
really
was
cool.
cool.
So then that got me into it, and that made me decide to buy those expansions. And then I just wasn't impressed by the expansions for Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, Scarlet and
Sorry.
Violet.
I think you didn't get
Yeah, I was saying I wasn't impressed by the Scarlet and Violet one, so I never bought them.
that. Okay, so the funny part is like the Scarlet and Violet expansions seem seem pretty hefty, but I haven't played through them yet, so I don't know. Like some, I've seen a very mixed dialogue online, or some people are like, "Hey, this was actually fun because in the expansion for Scarlet and Violet, the second one specifically, I forget it's called the Terrarium. You can play as the Pokemon and control them
Oh, that's
in
interesting.
like this weird terrarium thing." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's
maybe
cool."
maybe I'll check it out. I don't know.
There was
I
story
just feel like
elements there.
I got burnt by that game. That's probably my least favorite Pokemon game, and
I agree. Yeah, same.
because of that, I was like, it's not worth it. But I guess that goes right back to Za. It's actually one of my. Honestly, I'm really enjoying this game. I may like Scarlet and Violet more. That's
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. God, their names trip me up so much. So many S's. But yeah, I think I like Sword and Shield better just because I really like Zamian and Zamazenta. Whatever.
Yeah, Zamazenta and Zacian.
Yeah, Zacian. I really like them. But I really feel like they kind of nailed the battle mechanics. Like it's actually really fun. It's like I remember I was explaining it to a friend, and I was like, it kind of feels like a Final Fantasy like 16 game, but Pokemon,
Yeah.
because you have like you get to choose your abilities, and you have to wait until they recharge, and it actually like some moves that were like pointless now make a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, and actually it reminds me more of Final Fantasy VII Remakes battle
Yeah,
system because again, it's called active battle. You have to move around
yeah,
until
that's
your
true.
moves recharge, and then
And then you do it. Yeah, yeah, good point. That's a better example. And so for instance, like quick attack, I'm like, oh my god, quick attack is amazing because like you actually have to pay attention to how fast is the attack animation
yeah,
and how fast is the recharge. It makes a huge difference. You don't have to really worry about like it's only 85% chance of landing because you actually have to worry about placement and the timing it takes to charge up the attack. Like if you're going to launch like this massive attack, but it's like really easy to sidestep,
yeah,
the attack becomes kind of
pointless.
pointless,
Yeah,
right? The one downside to it is the AI is not great. So like
mm.
it's not precise enough for it to feel like it can be competitive. I don't know how the competitive players feel, but like a lot of times I'm like, oh, this guy's charging up an attack, let me back off. But I ran away, but my Pokemon's just standing there, right? And so then my Pokemon gets hit, so there's like no point,
Yeah,
because you're not actually moving the Pokemon,
yeah,
you're moving yourself, and Pokemon's following, and Pokemon doesn't always follow.
yeah. Or you have to command them, and that takes a while. The animation to.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a problem. But I'm having a blast with the fights. The battles are easy. I'm not struggling at all in them, really. And it's for a similar reason. You can just go to whatever zone you want, catch the strongest Pokemon, and then just destroy everyone in the game with it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's just fun, you
Mm.
know. One downside to the game, it does feel repetitive because it has like a similar structure where it's like, okay, nighttime, you fight all these trainers,
Yeah.
now you fight the challenger, now you go up a rank, now you go evolve, catch some megas. So it's very repetitive.
So you're stuck in a point of the game where they end up skipping a lot of that once you hit a certain point.
Already past that.
Oh, you went from K to.
Now I'm on like D.
Okay, so you're getting close to the end of the game.
Yeah. So I'm like level 40s.
Okay, I thought you meant like you were before K.
I mean, I didn't want to ruin it for everybody. Yeah. You get to skip a whole chunk.
Yeah.
But
So.
but still, it feels repetitive because okay, I didn't have to go through every letter of the alphabet, but I still have to go through like 12.
Yeah. The other part that I have right now an issue with, again, I haven't played the game, but I know of some of the things, is they've locked behind certain mega shards and mega stones. Mega stones in competitive play. So if you want to get Mega Grey Ninja now, Mega Delphox, Mega Chestnut, and now in season 4, which Mega was it? Mega. It's going to be Mega Bax Caliber for the new expansion. You have to play competitively and get a certain amount of wins before you can get those
Oh
stones.
man.
And I'm like, these are the most popular Pokemon. Why are you forcing people to play competitive?
I mean,
I mean,
I mean, but they could have done microtransactions.
That's true. I guess
So
this maybe is a little better. But like,
they're
I don't
better
know.
than EA at least.
Yeah, I guess it's just like frustrating. But
I know.
to add to that, this game is selling well. It's already sold 5.6 million copies
No
within a
freaking way.
within the
How
first
much did we
week.
think it was gonna sell? I don't think we thought it would sell
I don't
5.6
think
that
that
quick.
much.
That's
Yeah,
insane, dude.
that's
How many
crazy.
Switches are even out there? Switch 2s.
10 million.
Wow. But I mean, it's on the Switch as well, but
Yeah,
dang, 5.6 is
it's
crazy.
crazy. So it's selling well, it's selling good, and yeah, I think this expansion probably will sell well. I think people, whether it's divisive or not, and I think it is somewhat divisive. We have another Pokemon game that's going to be announced right around the corner.
Yeah.
And for those that haven't heard,
I mean, overall, I would notch Pokemon Za as like a victory. Like I know, I was watching some reviews and people were like, "Oh, the buildings look like kind of like crap and this and that," and I'm like, "Dude, it's a Pokemon game. What do you expect?" And
right?
also, like some people were complaining are playing on the Switch. And it's like I understand that this game was originally in the Switch, developed for the Switch, but come on, we love Pokemon, but we know what it is, right? And so, like, unfortunately, if you want a game from that company that runs decently well, you have to go to the Switch 2.
Yeah,
Even though it should run very well on the Switch because Tears of the Kingdom
yeah,
proves you can do it.
yeah.
That's just how Pokemon is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you have a new game, like I said, right around the corner. I don't think it's going to be any better or worse than Scarlet and Violet. I think it's going to just be somewhat similar, and I think I'll be disappointed yet again. I don't know how to innovate with this franchise. It's like more of, again, changing up the battle system, not really like graphics and stuff, and it's like different types of mechanics, like megas, Gigantamax, and what's the terrestrialization. It's weird. Some people don't like that. They want something different in terms of innovation, and I don't think everyone's happy right
Yeah, I
now.
mean, it's kind of hard because I think they've grown to such. They've grown so much that their player base is fragmented and they all want different things, right? Like, I would argue that terrestrialization is one of the biggest things that anyone could have done for competitive. Like
Yeah,
that
changed a lot.
completely changes everything, right? And so, I mean, that's insanely innovative,
Yeah,
right? And so those people might be very happy,
yeah,
right? But then other people who are more interested in the campaign, right? The story and catching Pokemon, they're like, okay, what is this garbage?
yeah. It was.
And then other people who really just want like a great Pokedex, and they're like, okay, there's actually not even a Pokemon
Yeah,
catch, right? And so what am I playing this for, right? And
yeah.
so when your fan base has grown that large and they all want something different,
You kind of have to
it's
have
hard.
different games.
It's exactly, and it's hard to deliver, right?
Right.
Because and I think we compare Pokemon to like what we expect it to be, but like I guess this is modern gaming. Like we know how else it could turn out. We could
Yeah.
have like 5-year development cycles for games and then they get canceled.
Yeah,
Like
but then
at least Pokemon has been consistent.
that's true.
Like if there's other fans of other franchises who never get to eat, Pokemon fans always are eating.
Yeah, every year too. I'll say this. So now that they have two clearly mainline games, you have your Pokemon Legends games. It's already been leaked that they're working on another one, and then now you're going to get your traditional generations, right? Of 10, 11, etc. Going forward. I think one more thing I would love to see them add as a third entry in the mainline series is whether it's remakes or just another spin-off, the old 16-bit, 32-bit or 8-bit like traditional art style, and just make that old reminiscent Pokemon game. Like again, get another company to do it.
Yeah, they
Outsource
could
this.
totally make that happen.
Yeah,
I mean, Pokemon as a franchise, you have so much like variety in what you can do, right?
Yeah.
Like that'd be so cool. Like it could be kind of like Octopath Traveler in
Yeah,
a
like
way, right?
Octopath, like the
People would
HD2D.
love that.
I
Oh
would
yeah. If
love
you
to
did like
just
red and blue and yellow and
God,
like that, oh, people would eat that up.
yeah, and again, if you had those three in parallel, then I think you satisfy a lot of people because they just announced another game called Poke Utopia, which is like almost like an Animal Crossing style Pokemon game. So they're clearly branching out.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
thing is, for as much crap as we give Pokemon, or people like to give Pokemon online, name me a franchise, well, Mario maybe, but name me a franchise that has like a fan base of all generations, all age groups, all sexes. Like
nothing really.
what
Yeah, there's nothing.
So, but okay, but no, I've really been enjoying it. So I think that's the game I'm probably gonna really focus in on next. So my plan is to really hammer out Pokemon Za. I'm going on vacation. I'm bringing all my stuff with me, so I'm gonna play that. I might get the Hyrule game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it came
just
out
came
as
out.
decent reviews, and then other than that, I'll see how the ROG is on the plane. But I was gonna hopefully play some Ninja Gaiden 4 and Outer Worlds. So that's that. I guess I can kind of fly through a little bit of what I've watched. Because really, the only thing I watched has been Witcher season 4. So I haven't finished it yet, which I think is indicative of how I feel about it.
So they've released all the episodes.
Oh yeah. I'm on the last episode, and I just have tried to finish it twice, and I keep getting bored, and I watch random Lions videos, and then I get distracted and never finish it, which really goes to show you that is not captivating me.
Well, they're only going to do one more season.
Yeah, and so I am not like super well versed in the books, right? So the people who are like the real, Witcher fanboys will correct me. Honestly, the season does seem like overall it's following the books more than I expected. But they've also made some incredibly divisive decisions that are so left field of the book and the game that the only reason I feel like the director did it was just to basically say, oh, you guys are hating on me? Well, let me double down and stamp on this show that this is mine. And I'm just like, why? Right? And without spoiling too much, like, fan favorite characters, and they just did them dirty. And I'm like, even someone who hasn't like really delved into Witcher, they are going to get upset about this.
Yeah.
And when I look at the fan base for Witcher, you have like the hardcore fans who have read the books, played, 1 and 2 maybe, right? And then to me, you kind of have like, I would call myself this, the bandwagoners, who jumped on board on Witcher 3 and fell in love, right? And for me, it's my second favorite video game of all time. Like, almost was my number one favorite video game.
It came in at the peak.
I never thought I would find a game that I loved almost as much as Halo until Witcher came. And so then I jumped on board at Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going backwards and loving everything else about Witcher from there, right? But the reason I bring this up, even the bandwagoners like me are going to be upset about this show because they're making these divisive changes for no reason. And it's like, why? Now, kind of telling you what I think about the show overall, the first question I had, how is this now that Henry Cavill is gone, right? Honestly, what's his name?
Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth. He's actually not bad. He's actually pretty good. And I think that if the show started off with Liam Hemsworth, people would actually be praising him and they would say he's really good, right? The problem is Henry Cavill was 100% what I would expect, right? After you get someone who nails The Witcher so good, so perfectly, nothing else will compare, right? So like if I used to think Liam would be a 9 out of 10 in isolation, now compared to Henry Cavill, he looks like a 7, right? Is that his fault?
No.
But it's like there's no way. Like the way he looks at people, looks off, like Henry Cavill, the way he looks at people, looks off screen, like the way he growls, just his mannerisms. It's exactly what I would expect from the video game. Okay. And like those kind of intangible things like are so hard to nail. So I don't want to be too mean on Liam, but what did you expect taking this role?
It's a lofty task. He's signed up for it. We knew for the most part he probably wasn't going to live up to it, and it would have been a pleasant surprise if he did.
Yeah. So,
in my opinion, hey, he's at least trying.
He's doing enough that I'm not so angry I want to burn the show down.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, I will always be upset that Henry Cavill did not stay because of, the freaking director creative and everyone, which, I get it. But Liam is good enough that I can still enjoy the show.
Yeah.
That's
good. You know what? At the end of the day, they're trying to salvage the show anyways, and they want to have some sort of arc. Let them finish it out these last 2 seasons, and if they salvage it, they salvage it. Like if I had to compare, I look at like House of Cards, and at the end where they had to finish it without Kevin Spacey, right? Like
I would say this is better than that. I actually think it's a 7 out of 10, and for most of the show, I was thinking it was an 8 out of 10 until the last like 3 episodes, and then I was like, oh my god, what happened?
Yeah, right? I mean, look, if I had to compare again. That's good because when I watched Amazon's Lord of the Rings, what's the show?
Oh, it's much better than that.
Yeah,
it's much better than Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, the second season, it was awful. Dude, I watched it in 15-minute chunks because it was so bad.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that about this,
it's much better than Rings of Power. So I think a lot of people are just like bashing it instantly and giving it a 3 or 4 out of 10
Yeah.
because they're like,
You have to lower your
oh, this is so
expectations.
different. Like, I hate this. But then, like, I've actually been trying to read some forums on like what is different, right?
Yeah.
And then there's obviously some changes that are clear that I think are incredibly stupid, and I agree with everyone on
Yeah,
them.
that's fair.
Um,
Valid
I
criticism.
understand why the director did it, right? I just don't like it, right? But I'm biased. But then there's other things that people are freaking out about, and I'm like, it doesn't really change the story that much. You know,
Okay.
like, okay, like this one character is dating someone and she's nice, and in the story she's toxic. Okay, fine, I get it. There's a pretty big difference. But like, it kind of, like, to me, like, it still works. You know, like, yeah, it would be a slightly different impact on, like, the character, but it works, right? So
Okay.
I'm not gonna like freak out about it. So,
I mean,
oh,
unless that portion of the story was so pivotal, where that person's toxicity was like crucial to something happening,
so that's the
does it
thing.
matter?
Everyone who have read the books will say yes, that's how it is. Like, that character's toxicity was so important to the evolution of the main character. Without it, it's not the same person. But for me, having not read the book, right?
Yeah.
I don't have that experience. I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, I can see how this character becomes what they were in Witcher 3, right? So,
I
to
mean,
each their own, right?
I think you're gonna get a lot of people watching the show that haven't read the books.
Yeah.
So
And I think people who have never read the book and who have not played the games are going to enjoy this.
right.
And they may rate it like an 8 out of 10. For me, it's a 7 out of 10.
I mean, you've actually got me now interested. I might actually watch this.
Yeah, well, watch it, but just know that there is some incredible stupidity. Like,
Okay.
and I don't know why writers do this, right? There's like, okay, good character has the opportunity to kill the bad character. But instead of doing it, they're just like, blah, 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 let me talk about my feelings. And then, guess what? Because they didn't kill the bad character, guess what? Someone dies that you loved. And it's like, this is so stupid. This is like,
Okay, that's a little.
and it's like this corny writing that Hollywood has had for decades. It's like, why can't we move past this?
I mean, that's almost something I would expect from a book, actually, and not an actual like representation within a show or movie.
Yeah, I feel like that's something I would write.
Exactly.
But no, so that's how I feel about The Witcher. But I'll finish it, and I'm looking forward to the last season. Kind of because I've spoiled the book for myself, and I guess I have to say this. I don't know if everyone this might give me some hate. The Witcher books are weird. Like, I didn't realize this, but like, CD Projekt Red actually kind of like cut some stuff out from the books, because if you're actually just being faithful 100% to the books get really weird sometimes. Right. And the ending of the book is like the weirdest thing ever.
Like, it was the same with Game of Thrones, and then the way they adapted it, they cut out a lot of stuff too. It's like,
I mean, I want to tell you, but I don't want to ruin it for people. But it's like, when you actually read and comprehend what the ending of the Witcher book series is, you're just kind of like, okay, that's weird. So I don't know, but apparently people love it. All right, so I guess
you have to remember these are mature books. Like, these are for very mature audiences.
Oh yeah. All right, I guess we can go through some of our breaking news. What do you want to talk about first, Arjun?
Let's talk about some of the smaller things first and get them out of the way before we get into the bigger. Yeah, I guess we'll talk, because we were talking about the PlayStation Portal. Switch 2. Nintendo had their earnings, and they put out some numbers. It was pretty interesting. They sold almost, I think, about 9.57 million, I want to say, units of the Switch 2, which was way more than they expected.
So how many months has it been out?
Since June. So 4.5 months.
4.5 months. So you're telling me that the Switch 2 may outpace the Series X and S in what?
Like less than half a year?
Like a year and a half?
Almost has outsold the Wii U.
Oh my god, bro, that's wild, because the Series X is at like 30 million, right? And this is at like 10?
Yeah.
So like...
look, hold on. Let me add to that. They're now up their forecast, and they think they'll sell 20 million units by spring of next year.
Oh my god, that's insane. So by the end of this console generation, Microsoft will have not only lost to the Switch, but also the Switch 2.
That's bad, dude. I
Oh,
know.
that's bad. I love Halo and Microsoft, but I just gotta say
It's
that's
horrible,
really
dude.
funny. And it's also really crazy how much the Switch 2 is selling. I did not
Yeah.
expect in this financial climate,
Yeah, that's
how
crazy.
are people affording the Switch 2?
I know. Well, you have to think about it. It's still cheaper than an Xbox Series X.
This is true, but like a lot of the games are still on Switch, so I didn't think people
Yeah.
would be able to
I think
convince their parents to
I
buy them a Switch
I think
2.
the compelling reason was Mario Kart. So it was almost a 1-to-1 attach rate. Mario Kart World has sold roughly 9 million units as well.
Wow,
So
insane.
either people bought it because they bought the bundle or they bought it separately.
But like, I mean, I don't have kids right now, so maybe I don't get it. And plus, I'm a gamer, so I would have it anyways. But I don't know. I feel like that might be a hard sell to get from your parents before Christmas even hits, right?
Yeah.
Because you would think that like in Christmas time, you're going to convince your parents to buy the new console, right?
So then it's probably not really kids. It's probably millennials that have money.
Probably, right? Because how else? Like 500, 450 is
Yeah,
not cheap, right?
it's not cheap.
And like,
500 when you
and
put
if
in
I
the
was a
game.
parent, right, and I was like, man, okay, this console only comes around 8 years, so I only have like 1 out of 8 years to buy a freaking console.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
think I
let
think
me
it
wait until
was I
Christmas.
think it was smart of them to do a pack in game. When's the last time any console manufacturer
I don't
doing
know.
a pack in game? Like imagine if Xbox Series X came out and says we're giving Halo for $50 if you buy it both together.
Yeah,
No one has done that in a long time. So I think they were
it's actually a pretty brilliant idea. I don't know why people don't do that.
yeah. Well, they used to back in the it was a GameCube Xbox era, right? Like they did the Halo 2 bundle or the console launch thing, I think, or maybe I can't remember.
I mean,
I thought
that kind of seems like a really good idea, honestly, because you know, the first exclusive you have that launches with your console is not often like the cream of the crop.
right.
Like Mario Kart World is a big gun for Nintendo, but it's not like Mario Kart World is so difficult to develop as compared to
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like, I don't think you'd ever want to bundle Tears of the Kingdom with it,
Yeah.
but Mario Kart World kind of makes sense to me.
Makes sense. It's for the casual audience, not as disrespect, but it's their
Like
fastest and best selling game.
Astrobot. Like, Astrobot is a game,
Yeah.
and they had Astro's Playground, right? Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And I think right now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best selling game on the Switch. It's like 60 million. So this made
Insane.
sense. So the other thing is they announced that Donkey Kong Bonanza sold about 3.49 million units.
That's more than I expected.
Pretty great for bringing this IP back.
So that means 1 out of every 3 people who have bought a Switch have got Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
That's insanely strong.
Now, Mario was Odyssey sold about I want to say between 25 to 30 million units. I wouldn't say 30 million units on the Switch One. I don't know if Donkey Kong will reach
I
that
don't
height,
think so.
but if it can reach between 10 and 20 million, that
That
would
would
be
be
a
a huge
success.
hit for it. Yeah.
Now the real question is, do we go a whole generation without another 3D Mario game? If we do, this is a letdown.
I mean, I think, and I'm doing a lot of speculation here. Okay, but if you're telling me the rumors are saying that a Pokemon game takes $15 to $20 million to make, okay, how much does a Mario game take to make? Okay,
that's a good point.
Double that, $40 million.
Still nothing.
And how many billions did you just make?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see how
They could.
you cannot make that happen. And your studios are not that big. Japan has a lot of people, right? Like, how can you not get that many people to make?
Common sense says that that's the case, but they made Odyssey and then they went 7 years without making another one.
But maybe this is just me being dumb, but I want to believe that it took 8 years because they probably wasted a couple of years trying to make Donkey Kong work.
Which is
right, because it's like a new franchise and maybe the Switch couldn't handle it, right? So, I want to say, like, if they just started off the bat trying to make Donkey Kong with a clear vision, it would have been shorter. And so I say that because, like, if you already have experience with the Switch 2 hardware, right, I feel like you could knock something out in like 4 years.
Yeah, so they admitted that. Donkey Kong did start on the Switch 1. Obviously, they couldn't do as much as they could on Switch 2, and then they swapped over to Switch 2 hardware. So that's probably the main reason. It was in the middle of the generation, and they decided to.
But I agree with you. If now we have to wait 8 years for the next Mario, like 3D Mario game, like, yeah, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, we're disappointed. But I think you're right. So the other thing Nintendo announced is, like, starting now, they're like, we're focusing all of our development effort now on the Switch 2. So they basically said, They didn't say we're abandoning Switch One, but all their primary focus is
That's how
coming
it
over.
should be. I
Yeah,
feel like Nintendo's doing it right. And maybe some games, hey, they can still run on the Switch One, so we'll make it cross platform. I can't imagine like a Super Mario. What is it? The board game thing.
Mario Party.
Excuse me, Mario Party. I feel like that's not going to be that intensive,
Well,
right?
no, it's
So
not
you
even.
can make that cross-platform, but like other games that are really pushing the physics and the graphics, like you're not even going to try and bother to make it cross-platform.
Yeah, I think they did something smart here. They took a bunch of Switch One games that released over the last 3 to 4 years, and they were like, "Here's a Nintendo Switch Two Enhanced Edition." And it's like you're in between. If you didn't play this on Switch One, you can get it on Switch Two with new features, and if not, you still have the Switch One edition. Like they did a good. They understood the cross generation period, and they're not going to make it last like 3 to 4 years. I think they're smart. And now going forward, if they make a new Mario Party game, just make it Mario Switch 2 only. Like there's no need. You can sell a fuck ton if you make another one.
Yeah,
There's no need to at this point.
wish that like Sony and Microsoft would learn from Nintendo because Nintendo's done it in such a way that it doesn't feel like the boomer bust cycle that you
Yeah.
get, right? Where like the PS5 comes out and you're like, okay, when do I upgrade, right? And then you're halfway into the generation and Call of Duty is still running and it's the best selling game and it's still running on the last generation, right? So it's like, what's the point?
And yeah, exactly. And watch when the PS6 comes out. The next Call of Duty game will run on PS4, PS5, and
I
PS6.
know, that'd be insane. I believe it. But the thing is, like, Nintendo has just made it feel like it's business as usual. Like, I would argue that the last year of the Switch was a little slow, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really care for the Peach game, the Zelda game, and stuff, but they still had, pretty good games, right? And, like, you could argue, like, the first year of PS5 and Series X were slow, right?
Yeah.
Just like the last year was slow for Nintendo, but there were still good games.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's just been very consistent.
Yeah.
So good for them, man. That's insane. I don't know how many games consoles they'll sell overall, but this I definitely called this one wrong. This one is selling. The Switch 2 is selling way bit more than I expected,
Way more than I
and the
expected.
games are selling way more than I expected.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think like another wind they'll have next year is again Pokemon Wind and Wave now comes out. Or sorry, I keep saying Wind and Wave. The next Pokemon generation is coming out next year, and that will increase sales again.
Wow, you're so sure about these leaks, bro.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, don't say Nintendo will take us down.
I know, man. But so it's just a game after game, and they actually have this steady cadence of dropping great first party or second party games. So like you just mentioned earlier, Zelda Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, like that looks interesting. Like it might not be a great game.
Yeah, that pads things out for you.
Yeah, pads it out for you. So and then Yoshi coming out at the earlier and Mario Tennis Fever.
They got it down. They really do.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we can talk about some delays next because we went from good stuff to now bad stuff.
Breaking news: GTA 6, not 5, has been delayed to November of 2026.
Hey, you think they just waited an extra year so it would line up? GTA 6 and 26? Let's go.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, actually, they already had it made, so my joke doesn't land.
But the thing is, kind of sucks because if they do nail that landing, which I don't think they will, sucks for Wolverine. It's coming out right around the same time.
Oh my god, I just realized that. Oh, that's like, I think Wolverine will still sell well, right?
I don't think they cross, but dude, it's going to get overshadowed very quickly.
Yeah. Do you think Sony moves their release date?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like you would release it like even 2 weeks before,
Yeah, maybe like a month before a month. Yeah, I think they would do a month before, like October or September.
Man, and they're releasing in the wintertime. Yeah. Oh, it's going to kill that winter. I wonder, this is going to piss off so many companies because they probably strategize and plan their entire year around the launch of GTA 6. And GTA 6, bro, like they just go wherever they want. They do not care. I love that kind of energy, bro. Yeah. Like they're like, whatever. The whole industry listens to us. You know?
It's crazy, man. Again, like what Sucker Punch said about GTA 6 not launching with Ghost of Tsushima launch, they were like so elated, like so happy. They're like, they couldn't believe it, They're like, oh my god, we were so...
I do feel like Ghost of Yotai would have gone overwhelmed or overshadowed. 100%. I think Wolverine is such a pop culture icon that it will survive, right? Definitely. And might even fuel each other a little bit, but you just don't want that attention. Yeah, you really don't, because GTA 6 is going to be just smash every record, right?
Everyone's going to be talking about it. It's going to be the game of the century, right? And so...
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's going to be like the best game of this generation.
Yeah.
Right? Like people are going to talk about this generation. They'll talk about GTA 6 and like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised because they seem so confident in May, right? It was May, right?
Yeah, it was May.
And so 6 months is actually pretty sizable, and they're not that far out. They're only 6 months away to begin with. So at this point, the game should be done. So really, they must be thinking, oh, we need more time for QA and polishing and
which
stuff
is what
like
they
that.
said. QA and polishing and performance. See, the thing is, this is what Take-Two does, like every other company. If you're public facing, you are beholden to the shareholders. You're going to come out saying you're confident in whatever date you give, but internally, you know that things could be a mess.
You know, they probably did. They probably knew,
they knew.
And they're like, we're just doing this for the shareholders.
Yep.
I don't think anyone is actually upset about this because, like, I think with GTA, everyone's like, when it comes, it comes. Yeah. We're gonna love it. Just don't release it early.
Yeah.
So, like, if all of a sudden, if GTA 6 says you're coming out in 2027, I'm still gonna be fine with that. Fine with that. But like, I'll be a little frustrated at the fact because then it will feel like the big moment for this generation is at the end of the generation.
Yes.
Right?
Because if it's in 2027, you're getting the next
Because
generation.
then it really feels that way, right?
Because I'd be pissed because I'm like, this is clearly a cross-gen game. I want the native PS6 version.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I know they're going to release it the next year in 2028 with all the advanced features. So then I'm like, do I want to play the game right now?
And I'm not going to want to
play it. I do, for those selfish kind of reasons, I want it to launch in 2026, right? But if it gets delayed again, whatever,
Yeah. And there's going to be a PC version a year later.
Yeah.
It's just going to come out. People will play it on their rigs, their super advanced rigs. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not upset at all.
And Rockstar is still making so much money; they don't care.
Yeah,
they're like, we're rich.
And then another game that was just announced today, which I'm not surprised because we haven't barely seen any of it, is 1943: Rise of Hydra. This is the game being produced by Amy Hennig, the lady who worked on Star Wars 1313 that never made it out, and that worked on all of the Uncharted franchises and left her on the Uncharted 4 series when things got really messy at Naughty Dog. So it's just kind of disappointing to see this because now seeing GTA get delayed, this game get delayed, seeing Square Enix announced today a bunch of layoffs in their US and UK studios. It's like, I do feel like we're in a recession in the economy right now and no one wants to maybe admit it. And everyone is having a hard time. Like the market is being flooded with a ton of engineers, developers, etc. No one knows where to go.
Yeah, everyone's losing their job.
Games are not coming out. Like 1943 doesn't even have a new release date. It's an indefinite delay. So they don't know when. They didn't commit to anything. So it's like this game could get canceled. I don't know. And if it does, that sucks again. And I feel like even Motive is working on that new Iron Man game. They did Dead Space remake. I haven't seen a lick of it.
That thing is totally going to get canceled. Yeah. And out of all the things I was seeing that was kind of tied into like, superhero franchises, this one actually looked really promising, right? And promising. I think you had like messaged me and you're like, oh yeah, this person who made Uncharted is making this superhero game. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool as Uncharted, but like that's weird, dude. Yeah. Like, how do you make an Uncharted game and now make like a superhero game? Like, I don't know if I want that. Yeah. And I was honestly like not really that interested or hyped. And then I saw that trailer. And oh man, this looks good. Like the tone was great. Obviously it was like pre-rendered, but the promise was so tantalizing.
Yeah. And she's not just the like owner of the studio or like creative director. She writes. Yeah. She writes the scripts for these.
So games. And she's a writer. Maybe we'll never know, right? But she seems like she's pretty competent. Yeah, like very competent. Anything that I've seen that she's been a part of that's been released, the writing has been good. The characters feel genuine. They have like actually like good banter. They don't feel like video game characters. So I don't know what happens with these projects. Yeah. It just sucks.
Maybe the supporting cast she had when she did Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, like that was just a phenomenal team, and she just hasn't been able to find people like that again. I don't know, but Uncharted, like if you had to compare Uncharted 1, okay, but 2 and 3 were just like straight out of this, this earth.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that most people think 2 and 3 is where the franchise peaked. Yeah. And 4 was good, right? Like I feel like there was a bit of a drop off.
There was a bit of a drop
off, but the height of 2 and 3 were so good that even a little bit of a drop off was still an amazing game.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that sucks. I don't know why they're saying indefinitely. Why can't you just say it's canceled?
Yeah, just say it's canceled or.
Why do you have to give? It's like 99.9% of my hope is dead. Why do you have to let the 0.1% remain?
Exactly, especially when you're okay again. they've been given a ton of money to make this game. They hired a lot of prominent people. If you're not putting out a date on it, tells me maybe internally you're going to have a restructure, reorg, and you're going to have to make a much leaner game now, which means you might have to cut out parts that you had before.
Which means that whatever comes out is just going to be garbage. Because at that point, I feel like you're going to take a hit.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I want a $500 million hit or $350 million hit? I feel like that's what Suicide Squad was. That's what a lot of these games are. Like, at a certain point in the game development, you're cooked.
You're cooked.
And you're looking at your numbers. You're like, the quality's not there because a lot of these developers are gamers.
Yeah,
they know there's no way this is going to come together to be the dream I wanted, and we're running out of time and we're stressed out.
Yeah.
And so then the management is like, okay, now we just got to cut our losses and move on. Yeah. And then it sucks for the developers because that's their resume.
That was
right?
their resume, yeah.
And it's like not their fault.
It's not their fault.
So that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
So all right, I guess maybe we can talk about the big news.
Yeah.
Let's go! Halo! It's on the PlayStation!
Halo, dang. Halo Combat Evolved. Or Campaign Evolved, sorry. Coming to PlayStation.
Bro, I need to know which dad in that studio made that joke.
Dude, that's the biggest... Cringe, but it's like so cringe, but it's like, okay, this works. So Campaign Evolved, meaning they're remaking, they said from the ground up with Unreal Engine 5, the campaign only for Halo 1, and coming to both PlayStation and Xbox and PC all at the same time in 2026. This was showed off at HCS. Halo was the championship.
Yeah, it was the last Halo championship.
Yeah, which was interesting. That too for Infinite. Last championship for Infinite. Yeah, Is that right? The thing is, there's rumors right now, and I can believe this. Rumors right now are saying that this is being co-developed by Virtuous Studios, who, guess what, made Metal Gear Solid Delta in UE5, who made Oblivion Remastered, and who's made, what was the...
I think those are the two main.
Oh, maybe those are the two mains. I have a feeling that Virtuous is just going all over the country like, we can take your old game, and if this is the case, this is not a ground-up remake. This is, to give us your engine, we'll wrap it with a paint of coat.
Well, so... they actually elaborated on that. I don't know did you watch the roundtable?
No, not really.
So I actually watched the roundtable and stuff. There's actually some interesting information in there too that we'll get to. As you can see, I'm really in on this, dude. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. But it is running on the original engine, right? But it's not the original Halo 1 engine. Because my understanding is they don't have that code. So it's running on the original Halo Reach engine. So that's why, like, the people who are, like, really into Halo, like, a lot of them have been freaking out. And they're like, oh, my God, this Elite is not rolling the way that it's supposed to roll in Halo 1. And the developers are like, yeah, we can't do that. This is the Halo Reach engine. So the Elites function the way they function in Halo Reach.
Interesting.
And so I'm actually okay with that because I felt like the AI was very good in Halo Reach. Like, they were, like, they were actually pretty menacing. They were pretty tough. I say that because all of the physics, all of the gameplay, like all of that is all Halo Reach.
That's actually interesting.
But then it's skinned like Halo CE.
Yeah.
But it's running on Unreal Engine. So all the graphics, right? That's all Unreal.
Yeah. But then the Halo, that's, actually, I don't mind that because Halo Reach, by the time Reach came out, it was actually a big improvement over even 3. People didn't like it as much, but it's very special in people's hearts now. It's very, like, cult now.
And I was, like, watching this guy who's, like, really into this. I wouldn't even think about testing this, but he's like, if you actually crouch and you burst fire with the assault rifle, you realize it has, like, kind of similar bloom mechanism. It's not like the bloom, but, like, it's similar to Halo Reach.
That's so
like,
funny.
And, like, the people who really know Halo Reach, they, like, tested certain attributes about the grenades and how they explode and everything. And they're like, yeah, this is Halo Reach. Which is crazy to me that, like, you can just tell what is Halo Reach and what is Halo CE just by playing it, even if it's reskin. Man, kudos to those guys.
I mean, would I have loved them taking the Halo Infinite engine, like Slipspace, and then remaking 1 through that and then putting a coat of paint? Maybe.
But the thing is, people would crucify them for that because, like, I think there's a lot of people who are already unhappy that it's not running on Halo CE engine.
But that's so antiquated and old now. But this is funnier. So when they added Sprint, it wasn't like a brand new thing. It was already part of Halo Reach because you could run in Halo Reach, right? Yeah. So this.
So and it's not the same sprint as Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those kind of like weird quirks. I don't know. Like, I feel like online people are just all over the place with this one, right? And like what I'm hearing Like I'm hearing a lot of people who are very upset at the art style for this game because they're saying that they don't like the fact that the grunts and the marines are the Halo Infinite grunts and marines, and they're like, listen, Halo Studios, like we want you guys to be authentic, and they're asking for their feedback, and they're like, we want you to change all the marines from the Halo Infinite ones to the Halo CE one, and this is just me. Like, I'm all in for making it authentic. But if you're telling me, like, that's where we want to put our resources, I'm going to say, like, no, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, look, let's not put our resources there. Let's make the frame rate better. Let's
Yeah.
make the graphics run better,
Yes.
right? Like,
Performance.
let's get the next game out sooner,
Yeah.
right? Like, those things to me are like, you can't have everything, right?
Yeah.
Like at this point, so like let's just get the things that are important. And I think people are upset because they're like, yeah, like it kind of feels like a lazy project where you're copying the Needler from Halo Infinite, you're copying this and that, and I'm like, okay, I'm with you, right? It would be nice if everything was done from the ground up. But would I rather have some cheats and now this game is 50 million and we don't have to worry about making such a huge profit versus no, now the game took 100 million and it takes 6 months longer to release? No, man, take the shortcuts. I'm fine with
Take the
it.
shortcuts. I like the extra coat of paint, and for it does something to my brain psychologically that says I do want to play it again now.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the old ones, even if it has been remastered.
My opinion has changed so much. When I first watched the trailer, I was kind of underwhelmed. And I was like,
remember telling me that.
and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it looks cool, but like, I've already played Halo. I don't know if I want to replay it.
Yeah.
But the more and more, like, I watched it a few times, and I was like, man, I'm actually excited. Like, I want to play this again. Too. And I learned from watching the developer documentary, the Roundtable, they're actually changing quite a lot in this game. So it is, to me, it actually seems more like a remake.
Yeah, so, more like because you can have 4 people play co-op. You have the extra seat on the car. You can pick up weapons now.
Yeah.
What else did they say?
They have 3 prequel missions.
They have 3 prequel missions they're adding with the kernel. So it's like, okay. Like,
and then they actually said, and maybe I'm reading into this too much.
And they're redoing both.
But they said in those 3 prequel missions, there is new characters, locations, and enemies.
Oh, okay.
So, like, what?
And they're bringing the Flood from Halo 3 into this?
Yeah, they have, like, the brutes and stuff, and you can see, not the brutes, I don't know what they're called.
Whatever they're called. They look like brutes.
The tank forms.
The tank, yeah.
Yeah. And so, in the Roundtable, you should watch it real quick when you have a chance. Mm-hmm. Like, you can actually see the screens of some of the developers as they're working on some of the levels, and you can see, like, 343 Guilty Spark. Like, it seems like a bit of it. And it's, like, dark and moody, and you can see, like, a little bit of the flood forms. They look creepy, man. Yeah. Like, they actually look like, yeah, they look really creepy.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited.
So that's going to make that level look really amazing. And I am curious to see what they'll do with the back half of the game because the back half is pretty repetitive, mm-hmm. right? So I wonder how much they'll change that up. I think for me, the reason I'm so happy overall, I did not expect them to say that this is coming out in 2026, you know? Even though Microsoft said, oh yeah, something that's been with us from the beginning, right, will be with us in 2026. You know, from some of the things I was reading online, I was like, I don't know if Halo Studios can actually get this game out, you know, in 2026, right? And the fact that they were able to show off like a live demo, yeah, there's a lot of jank in it, right? But how many people let you play a live demo of a game a year before it's going to be released?
Yeah,
like, no one does that.
Yeah,
right?
I can give it some grace. It's like they'll fix a lot,
and they'll iron some of those things out. But I really thought that this would be 2027.
I did too.
And I thought, like, even though they have not announced it, I was pretty convinced that Certain Affinity had a battle royale that they were going to announce in 2026 and release in 2026. So the timeline to me seems faster. Like, I think when you zoom out, like, Infinite to the Halo remake seems, like, ridiculous, right? Because you're like, oh my god, we're waiting 5 years from Halo Infinite, and now we're getting a remake. That's pretty shit, right? But if you actually look in the studio, like, the studio basically died.
Yeah, it died.
And came back to life. Yeah. And they basically fixed their old game, which took them, like, 3 years. And so it was, I feel like they only really started development in 2024.
Yeah, so here's another thing I'm confused about. Like, was it only a year ago when they said, hey, we're working on a new Halo project and we're using Unreal, and then they show off that little 10-second clip?
Yeah.
And they made it look as if they were the ones prototyping it. And if I have to believe these rumors, I do think Virtuous is the one that's probably doing the work with the Halo Studios leading in this effort. which means they have a lot of people now within the studios probably working on something else. So if this comes out in 2026,
Yeah,
then
so the studio was rebranded to its current name October 2024. It hasn't even, it's just
yeah,
been a year.
it's been a year. So it's something I think Virtuous is leading.
They
like,
must be.
Yeah. And then if this is the case, the question is, do they do a Halo 2 and 3 remake? And if they do a Halo 2 and 3 remake, and they're supposedly working on a live service multiplayer aspect, which means going forward, any new game that continues the storyline will just be campaign only, and they just continue to add to a hub.
So that's what I think we're gonna do. I think Microsoft is copying Call of Duty, and I
Yeah.
think they'll have a hub, and they'll have like Halo 1 campaign involved, Halo 2 campaign involved, Halo 3 campaign involved, whatever, right? And they're going to be discrete experiences that Virtuos is going to make, and with Halo Studios' help, right? And then they're going to have their battle royale that Certain Affinity has made, right? And then the next Halo game will eventually come out, and that'll be Halo 7, and that is going to take a while to come out.
Now the question is, whatever this new Halo game ends up being, let's say 7, whatever, will that be Unreal?
Oh yeah.
But then you're gonna have to either start from
So,
scratch.
So what I'm not sure about is, are they going to do? And there's been conflicting speculation reports. Some people are saying that they are going to stick with this modified engine, where underneath the game is running the physics of original, and over top they're going to get Unreal, right? And I don't know if that's like something they can sustain in the long term, because the reason they want to switch to Unreal is so they can make the developmental pipeline easy.
Yeah.
But down the line, if they want to make some fundamental changes, how are they going to do that?
Yeah, so I think I now know what they could be thinking. They're going to do 3 remakes. Maybe they'll come back to back to back year after year after year, 26, 27, 28. Let's just assume.
That would be great.
Great. We get 3 remakes. They go, and then they announce in 27, you know what? We are working on a new Halo that is from the ground up with Unreal 5 for the physics engine. Yeah. So the project they showed last year of us prototyping, that could be the start to their new Halo game.
Yeah, I mean, that could make sense. And then that way they have time to make sure the feel is right.
Yeah.
And I think the key thing is going to be, when do you announce that multiplayer project? And for me, and I know we talked about this outside of the podcast, if they have that cooking, I don't know why you don't just announce it right now. Why can't you just say, we have Halo campaign evolved, here's what it is, and then at the end just give a tease, just like you gave before. Yeah. And I know there's no multiplayer here, but don't worry, we have some exciting news for you coming up.
So I think it depends. If they took what Certain Affinity was working on and they took that over, it makes sense, announce it sooner, because you have something to work off of. If they scrapped it, because we don't know if it's still being worked on, then you announce it when the next Halo 7 or whatever comes out and says it's launching at the same time.
I mean, I guess I'm just hoping that Certain Affinity's whatever they're working on is not completely dead, because not only is that a huge waste of resources,
that would have been
huge waste of Halo talent, because Certain Affinity has the Halo talent, right? But because then there's not going to be any new multiplayer until Halo 7. Yeah. And Halo 7, I don't want, and the worst thing is when Halo Studios and Microsoft ends up in that situation, they try and force it. They try and rush it, And for me, I'm like, okay, if you have Certain Affinity's game, you have Halo Infinite live service still kind of surviving somehow, you have these campaign remakes that Virtuos is making, there's not as much immediate pressure to get Halo 7 out the door. Yeah. Right? And so then you can actually let that cook.
Which again, maybe if we line this up, just speculation, if this is the last Halo championship for Infinite, why announce that now? Like, Halo 5, when it came out, multiplayer lasted for 5 years. Then Infinite came out. Why not just let...
That's why I truly feel that, like, we're probably going to get both in 2026, if not 2026, 2027. And I feel like Microsoft's not necessarily going to shadow drop it, but they're just going to announce it out of nowhere.
Yeah, I could see
And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, guess what? We have a Battle Royale that's coming out in 3 months. And I'm going to be like, why?
And you know what's going to be funnier? Even if they do that, that's not going to be their main multiplayer. Like, that might last for 3 years. And then when Halo 7 comes up, then it's the premier multiplayer package again, the competitive PvP.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like, as silly as that sounds, because that sounds really silly, that's kind of what Battlefield and Call of Duty are doing, right? Like, which goes to show you how powerful Fortnite was.
Yeah.
Because now you have to make something that competes directly with Fortnite and another product that retains your legacy.
Yeah.
You can't fuse them anymore, because that's how powerful Fortnite is, right? Like, did Battlefield 6, they just released their game, and then out of nowhere, I don't even know if they announced it ahead of time. They're just like, oh, by the way, free to play battle royale, Battlefield.
Oh, they announced that?
Yeah, it's a thing right now. Yeah,
Jesus, okay.
and it did really well, and I think it like brought up Battlefield's numbers to like over 500,000 or something crazy.
That's crazy.
And but that's what I mean. It was like out of left field.
Also,
It's called RedSec.
Yeah, most of their players aren't PC. That's even crazier.
Yeah, well, I mean, PC players have always loved it.
But just think about it. Most still on PC, but in Call of Duty, most players on console. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I really feel like they released their game first, and then later they just announced out of nowhere.
So I can see it.
We have a battle royale, and then it did amazing numbers.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe Halo Studios does the same thing when they release Campaign Evolved.
Yeah.
And then a month later, they're like, "Oh, you finished the game?
Yeah.
Here's the battle royale."
Yeah, like I could see either in January when they do their next direct, or in summer of Xbox Showcase.
They could shadow drop it because now the Halo remake is going right next to GTA 6 because Halo remake is not moving out of November.
Yeah,
because that is their month.
That's
right.
The month.
So
that's a bad one. That actually. What about Fable 2?
Yeah,
that's gonna be a fall thing.
I don't know when Fable is gonna go. I feel like other franchises can move to other months, but like Halo has very iconically been sitting on November for the anniversaries. Like Halo 3 was in September, right? So it's not like every Halo game is then, but for the anniversary, Microsoft tries to be cute, right? And so I think they're gonna.
Dude, no one's gonna buy it. Yeah, just like that comes out at the same time.
Watch, there's gonna be like 5 games that released a week before GTA 6, and then no games for like 12 weeks.
Oh my god, that's so true.
That's so funny. But no, overall, I'm happy and excited for Halo.
Yeah.
And
I'm happy it's relevant again.
Yeah, I'm happy it's relevant. It's on PlayStation, and yeah, like there's a part of me that can say like it's the fall from grace, but like now it's like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
You know, we've all accepted that like Halo has fallen from its grace. It's no longer what it was. Can we just stop talking about like the doom story of Halo because like everyone knows it and we can just like move on? And I guess like I was thinking about this and I think it's kind of fitting. Like in some ways, I feel like the way I feel about that franchise is how I feel about the city of Detroit, right? Like so many people talk about, oh, this was Detroit in the 1950s and 60s. We're the fourth or third biggest, city in the world or in the country. And like, look at how much future we had and everyone wanted to be like us. And then for X, Y, and Z, reason, look at what happened to Detroit between 1950 and 2020, right? Yeah. And then they'll take some pictures of like decayed ruins and they're like, okay, look at what happened. This place sucks, right? And then everyone just wants to use Detroit as the punching bag to compare themselves to when they're actually not doing that great, but they're just like, at least we don't have buildings like Detroit, And then like, it's kind of nice that like now we're entering an era of Detroit where it's like, yeah, I mean like this is old news. Like we know what happened to Detroit. Like, can we move beyond that and talk about how cool Hudson's is? Like obviously like we're not going to be like the alternate reality, 2025 Detroit that's like New York.
Yeah.
But like, hey, this is still cool. We can enjoy this, right?
And so I wish we were. But...
Right? But so I say that because like, to me, Halo's going to be like that. Like Halo, I am
accepting what it now is.
I'm the biggest fanboy of Halo amongst the people I know, right? As you know. But I've come to the realization and the acceptance that like those days of Halo are gone. And I think a lot of people who are so angry online, they're angry at Halo as a franchise and Microsoft, but they're also angry at the fact that their childhood is gone. Right? Okay. Because like that was their childhood, right? And they just can't move past the fact that those days are gone. Those communities we had on Halo 3 and Halo 2, those Xbox Live, type of, that's dead and gone, but like that's okay, because you have the memories and you can move on to something else, right?
Maybe they're angry at themselves.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, I agree with that. And also, it doesn't matter, even if Halo comes back into form, the online community is not what it once was, regardless. So
I was reading somewhere and it was talking about, like, if you look at generation, at, like, who's talking about what franchise, like, below the age of 18, like, nobody knows what Halo is.
Yeah, no one knows.
And so, the people who know Halo are all the people who are, like, in their 30s.
Yeah.
And they're probably not even playing games.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The people that are nostalgic for it, that are between 30 and 40, or late 20s, I'm just saying this, I'm not trying to generalize, but I am. You don't have friends to co-op play it or LAN play it with.
I don't. I'll be honest, bro. Yeah. If Halo, Call of Duty is still, doing so well, I don't have people to play Call of Duty with like I used to.
Yeah, none of us have any. We all stick to single player games and we play multiplayer, but we all are very disparate when we play. We do not play with each other barely anymore because
Yeah,
we don't have the
and
time.
I mean, it feels nice where like you get the boys back, and you're like, oh yeah, let's run Battlefield or Halo like we used to. But like,
For what? 2 matches?
exactly, like you're not playing as consistently as you used to, right? Like even if I get the game back, because like the joy of that moment was the fact that you didn't have responsibilities,
Yeah.
right? Like I could enjoy Halo in that time capsule because like
That was
it
your
was
life.
a Saturday, and what else was I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'll play some Halo, go play some basketball, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know?
Your life revolved around that.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't.
But now it's like that's like a hobby that I have on the side that I have to find time for,
Yeah.
right? So it's just different, and so I hope this is an opportunity to like make Halo relevant for other generations and
Hopefully.
have them enjoy what we enjoyed. And when I came to that realization, I was like, I want to see how the younger generation reacts to Halo, right? Because like the story is good, the gameplay is good, I wonder how they'll feel playing a game like that, being so used to Fortnite, right? Like, oh, I can't pull out my shovel, like what am I gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
I mean, I'll say this: I'm not hungry for a new story right now because we got a show that was an ultimate fail. It was an alternate timeline. We got
Yeah.
Infinite Story, which was an ultimate fail. We got Five, that was an ultimate fail. So like, I'm not hungry for something new because even if this is new leadership and a new team, no one has delivered for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, it comes out. I'll definitely touch it. I'll play it. Whatever. But I'm actually excited for these remakes because Halo 3 is near and dear to my heart. That's nostalgic. And when that gets remade, which I hope it does,
Oh, I will be very happy when they
I'll
finally
be
get to
on
Halo
it.
3
Yeah.
because and Sprint with that will
Oh
feel
my
so
God.
nice.
So
and
nice.
and Halo 2, like when they remake that'd be cool, but the Halo 2 anniversary you already had was pretty good, so I don't really care. For me, I am actually one of the few who actually really enjoyed Halo Infinite, so I'm really excited for Halo Infinite 2, and I would love for it to come tomorrow, but I know that's not going to happen. And so for me, I am okay with waiting because I would rather wait for the game and have it be good than rush it. I also am in the minority probably that I do feel like if you gave Halo Infinite 2 more years, it would have came out in a good state. And which goes to show you how unfinished it was, right? Because if it actually had 2 more years, you could have had different biomes in the campaign, you could have had a more fleshed out multiplayer. And it's no surprise that it took really until 2024 for the game to be the product it needed to be at launch, right?
That's the assumption that whatever they were doing was the right, like they were on track. The reason why they cut it short is because whether it was scope creep or something else,
Yeah.
the direction wasn't straight. So they
Yeah.
narrowed down the scope, and then when they launched it, it actually kind of worked.
Yeah.
But had they given it 2 extra years, it probably
Who
wouldn't
knows?
have looked the same.
So I say that because I feel like if they gave it 2 more years, they could have at least finished the multiplayer in the Forge and released the complete package,
Yeah,
right?
that's sure.
And I think that's how far out they were from releasing a complete package. The fact that they were able to get Halo Infinite out the door in the shape it was is actually kind of miraculous.
Kind of miraculous.
For
the course.
For where that game was, right?
That's par for the course for that studio.
I know, but the fact they were able to release it like that it says a lot.
Sorry,
because
franchise, not studio.
Yeah. But I do think that if they released the game 2 years later, I think it would have been received in a totally different way. But at the same time, I think people have just been so obsessed with what is Halo because, like, I think when people talk about Halo, it's symbolic of them talking about Microsoft, right? And
Yeah,
so
that I agree.
And so I think that's why people obsess so much about Halo because they're like, I don't even need to have a conversation with you about how Microsoft is doing because look at where Halo is,
Yeah,
right? And that's like the end of the conversation.
Well, again, it's synonymous because they launched the console with that as one of their premier games, and it lasted for 3 decades, or 2 decades. So it's like when I look at Nintendo and I see Pokemon or Mario, it's when I see Sega and I see Sonic. Like, even though it became irrelevant for 10 years, Sonic's popular again because that's the first thing they started with. So to me, like, it's gonna get a lot of shit. Like, Halo's gonna get a lot of shit because, like, you're an OG. You started this. You cannot die out this way.
But I also think it cuts both ways, right? Because, for instance, maybe this is a hot take. Okay, Microsoft releases the Halo games in an unfinished state. They don't sell well. Doom and gloom. Everyone wants to cancel the company. How the fuck does the Pokemon company get away with this?
They get away with a lot.
Scarlet and Violet.
That's because their leadership is corrupt and they accept it.
Scarlet and Violet, right? And it's like that game, more so than any game, is
Okay, you want me to tell you how? You want me to tell you how?
Pokemon cards?
No, it's not like that. It's because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, with all the jank, sold 27 million units.
But that's my point. That's my point. Like, it still sold so well, right? And I think that's also a reflection of how people feel about Nintendo. So I think with Microsoft and Halo, it cuts both ways. People hate Microsoft, they take it out on Halo. People hate Halo, they take it out on Microsoft. And it's just like a double-edged cutting.
Yeah.
Because it's like people can hate people can hate Pokemon-ish, right? But they don't actually hate Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't actually
Fair.
cut both ways, right?
It's fair.
And this is true for all of Microsoft's franchises, right? Like, people hate Gears, they hate Microsoft, but like for Halo, it's more emblematic than any other. And I mean, it makes sense. You're right. It's the poster child, right?
Yeah.
But I just think that's a curious thing.
Fun.
So we'll see what happens. But you never know, because I think even if Halo will not always be Halo is not always judged on the merits of itself. It's judged on the merits of what it was and what it could be.
Yeah.
And what Microsoft, how people are feeling about Microsoft.
It's like, look, it's like when you were dating your ex-girlfriend and you thought they were going to be the love of your life and you thought they could be so much more, but in reality, you realized they weren't the person you thought they were going to be.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, let's say this Halo remake is looking good, right? But then all of a sudden Microsoft jumps up the price, of Game Pass from $30 to $35. Out of every game they're releasing, which is the one that's going to be getting the most crap? Which is the one that will suffer the most? Halo. Everyone will just swarm on it, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
And because gamers do talk with their wallets, right? Like, I don't know the numbers, but I think Outer Worlds 2 is suffering right now
sure.
because of timing. They increased the prices, and then Outer Worlds came out, and they kind of sent Outer Worlds out to die. And it's so ironic because Outer Worlds talks about, a capitalistic company that destroys everything.
No, barely any marketing. No.
And like, it's funny that, like, it's not funny. It's kind of shitty, actually, that I feel like, even though people aren't saying this online, like, gamers are kind of taking out a lot of the anger about Microsoft on some of these studios, right? And like, Outer Worlds, I feel like, is kind of catching it.
Yeah.
But like, if there's any group of developers who are going to sit with you and agree that, like, these capitalist corporations suck, it's Obsidian.
Yeah.
Because look at their games. It's literally what they're saying. It's a satire.
It is. It's funny. It's ironic.
So, but all right, and I guess we've been going for a while. Last thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I think this really cements everything. Surprised you haven't really read the article, right, from Jason Schreier?
I mean, I remember it a little bit, but I didn't look into it too much.
About the Microsoft 30%?
Yeah, lofty expectations for Microsoft on many divisions within, including Xbox. And I mean, I don't know if it's been fully confirmed, but if that's the case, profit margins 30%, that's lofty for Xbox, who's been losing money on hardware generation after generation and who's barely making now a profit with acquiring Activision. So
I think that was the news that hit me the most. Like, there's been a lot of crappy news, as a Microsoft fanboy, right? That sucks. I think the Perfect Dark cancellation really hit me hard, right? But this one, man, it just felt like the knife was in and that twisted it. Like, when Microsoft increased the price to $30 for Game Pass, like, whatever. We talked a lot about that. I think the premium is still a good deal. But this, I was like, God, this just makes sense, right? This makes so much freaking sense. Yeah. And I think they had mentioned that in 2022, and mind you, what did Microsoft have in 2022? What did the Pentiment and Grounded, right? Yeah. They made 12% profit on their Xbox division. That's actually which I would say, being what, like, PS5 outselling you double. Yeah. And only having those two games. That is the worst year of Microsoft. And you had 12% profit. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So when Phil Spencer and everyone is saying Game Pass is profitable, Xbox is profitable, that's actually true. They're not lying, right? Yeah. But then, Amy Hood coming in, this is again speculation, but if it's true, and telling all of Microsoft that you have to be at the 30%, mark, this is why these big corporations suck, right? Yeah. You try and be hard and you say, we're holding everyone accountable to the same standard and the standard is the standard. Yeah. But it's not fair that you are actually a conglomeration of 5 companies that should be separate. In separate industries, you cannot measure them all the same, right? And it's not fair for you to judge AI on the same way as you're judging games, AI doesn't need to do much to make your 30% profit, right?
Yeah.
But gaming does, right? And it's
Yeah.
just these should be separate companies.
Yeah.
And so you want to bring them together to create synergies, but then you want to measure them all together. And so I think that is the worst decision possible. And it makes so much sense because the timeline makes sense. After that announcement, if it's true in 2022 from Amy Hood, what happened? Um, Games are going multi-platform.
Yeah.
Studios are getting canceled. Games are being rushed out the door like Redfall. Right? These projects that look really interesting and fun, now they're getting canned. They're getting canceled. Everwild, no way that's going to make 30% profit. Right? And it's gross, right, for everybody, right? So, okay, let's say you want to make some interesting things like Keeper, right? You want to make Hellblade 2, you want to make some things that make people think that, hey, you're kind of artsy and different.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to have to double down and make 3 Call of Duties, right?
Yeah.
Or else there's no way your whole brand is going to have 30% profit. So that's a lot of unfair stress if it's true on Phil Spencer and stuff, because I'm sure they want these jewels to survive, right?
Yeah.
Like these, really kind of unique games, because Phil loves that stuff.
Yeah.
How much has he played Vampire Snipers,
Wow.
right? But then now you're going to have to double down on all these things that make money.
Yeah, I mean, this is the churn of the tech industry since the dot-com bubble. And Microsoft has been like this for decades. So with Xbox and without, like, they've had lofty expectations on many of their divisions. Often they go through a ton of churn, they lose a ton of people, but I think they probably are boastful, and the people within their C-suite say, we've always survived and weathered the storm. So sometimes they tell themselves, I think this is just me just speculating, like, if we're not harsh within ourselves to
We
set
won't
ourselves
survive.
up, we won't survive.
Yeah.
And they admitted it themselves during the court case when trying to acquire Activision. They said they were about to exit the gaming industry. So if they're going all out, they're going to be lean as possible now. They're going to try to do everything they can. They're going to throw everything at the window to see what sticks.
But it's like you're setting yourself up for failure, right?
Doesn't
Because
matter.
it's like
They were ready to leave.
I know, but you're ready to leave. But like now you're jumping back into it. But like you're having unrealistic expectations. Like for instance, I want to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
I can work harder than every human being on the planet.
Yeah.
But why should I ever create an expectation that I'm going to dunk?
Okay, so what if your doctor comes to you, okay, because this is out of your control, and says, you have 6 months to live, and your dream is to become a basketball player.
True.
Are you not going to try to take steroids? Are you not going to try to?
Fair.
Are you not going to take a bunch of drugs? Are you not going to do everything you can? And you're going to play one basketball game.
I agree, right? And that sounds like a crazy expectation, but there's a difference between a crazy expectation and a expectation that's not going to happen. So I can inject steroids into every muscle of my body individually, but there is no reason I should ever expect to dunk in every game. I'm 5'7".
But you said not every game, but there could be some games. This is the point. The point is you inject yourself a steroid so you get to dunk once and tell yourself before you die you lived your dream. This is the point.
Arjun, you played basketball with me. What have I been able to dunk?
That's not the point. That's not the point.
It's physically impossible for me to dunk.
Shamir, from the outside in, that's what I'm saying as a consumer to Microsoft. But from the inside, the team that was ready to die 3 years ago is saying we have one last chance. This is you have to look at it as this is their last opportunity, or they're leaving the industry. Why would you not? They, at this point, don't care because the other divisions within Microsoft make a ton of money for them. Cloud, all the global product development for all their other products, software services.
I guess I just don't get that logic, because it's like, okay, you want to push them as hard as you're possible because this is like your last minute chance. This is like, hey, we would be dead anyway, so let's go for broke. It's a Hail Mary, right? Yeah. But like, if you have 5 seconds left, right, and you have one play, there is no world where you should be able to expect making 15 points. Right? So this is my point, right? Like you can bet, like, oh my god, that would be crazy if we made 7 and got an onside kick and made another 7. Okay, or no, 6 and 6 onside kick, we made 12. But 15.
I get it.
So that's my point. So I'm like, okay, if we took Microsoft and you are the loser right now and you were going to exit, and let's say, a good year for people is 20%. We want you to make 20% every year. And you guys were the worst. Maybe even 25%. Okay, fine. 30%.
But guess what? They went so lean and so hard and they stretched it so much that you hit 20 or 25 than 5 or 10, because everyone said we were okay with 12%. Everything was dandy. I let you make your stupid evergreen wild game.
Arjun, you're sounding like a Microsoft manager.
I am, because I'm in the corporate world and I see it. It's bad. So I get it. If you don't push them and you make them stick to a standard and your deviation is 15 or 17% away, they're going to do stuff like that. Irrationally.
Yeah, it's irrational. But then, like, that's what makes me upset, because it's like, you can be a leader that pushes people beyond their limits to get to, to help them grow to like the best version of themselves, right? But when you are doing things that are irrational, right? It seems to me like it's short-sighted, and you're just trying to make a name for yourself and leave,
100%.
right?
100%.
And so that's disappointing to me, because there is a world and there is a way of doing this that could have made financial sense and made everyone happy,
Sure.
but also made Microsoft the powerhouse in gaming.
Sure.
But it's like you set yourself up for big failure.
Like, Shamir, you are living now with the harsh reality that you grew up with a game when you were a little kid that spoke to you. All the outside noise did not bother you, right? From a business perspective. You're now an adult and you think logically, and now you're like, wait a minute. If I want like an experience for someone like that again, maybe my kids, next generation, millennials, or Gen Z, etc. All you got to do is X, Y, and Z. They've been doing that for the last 20 to 30 years. You just didn't realize it when you were a kid. Now you're starting to see like how these businesses operate, and unfortunately,
I mean, everything is a business in the end of the day, right? Like, we are enjoying a part of it that feels like magical and stuff like that, but in the end of the day, like, it's entertainment, right? Like, it's a business. I just think my whole critique of this is it's just a bad business, right? Like, I just think it's a bad business move. Like, if I was analyzing the same move, but it wasn't in gaming, it was in healthcare, or if it was in car manufacturing or whatever, I would look at them and I'd be like, you guys are idiots, like, and you guys don't have to be, right? Like, you have the opportunity and you have the means to get it done, but like, why are you doing it in this way?
I mean, right? I also think that like the people in charge of Microsoft, so the people above Phil, they're power hungry. Like, I think when you can just cut people left and right, you can put lofty expectations, and then you tell people to work hard just like you did, like whoever executive is saying that, it's power hungry. You feel like you're on a power trip. And in this economy, you can justify letting go of people because you say, look, everyone else is doing the same thing. So I just feel like...
And now I feel like things are starting to make sense, because, you set this profit margin, you're not going to get it. So then, what do administrators do? Be like, hey, it's all good. We wanted it this way.
Yeah.
Actually,
exactly.
Let me tell you about this $1,000 console.
Yeah,
okay,
that's exactly it.
This is going according to plan, guys.
I really feel like it. And if their goal is to migrate as many people to Windows as possible, they're then gonna be like, see, this is always part of the plan.
And at the end, when everything is said and done, Xbox can turn in their keys to the Windows people and be like, you're welcome.
Yep.
They said it was impossible for Windows to get optimized.
Yep. Here you go.
Guess what?
We're out.
Thanks to us doing what we did and destroying all these franchises, Windows is now optimized.
I'm not gonna lie, you're
because that's where we're ending, right?
That's where we're ending.
Right? Because like Windows has always been the home of gaming from the beginning.
It's always been that.
No one liked Windows because it was unoptimized, and people like Steam. And now when everything is said and done, we're just gonna have an optimized Windows that lets us play games.
Yeah, that's it's a full circle moment. It took 30 years to get here. Honestly, though, I really love your analogy about the 15 point in 5 second thing. That's not the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Right? Because like that's why. Look, I'm all for pushing people. You know me. I'm always trying to go above and beyond what I can achieve. Right? I want to shoot for the stars, but there's like certain barriers, right? Like it's limits. Like it's not gonna happen. Like you're not releasing Grand Theft Auto this year. Like it's like Rockstar expecting to make the same profit on Grand Theft Auto as they did the first year. Yeah. Like why would you expect the same profit on year 5 as year 1? Like
it's so funny. Like I saw, and I think I told you this personally, but I'll tell it for the podcast. So, where I work at GM, something similar happened where our senior vice president of software and services just immediately stepped down, no reasoning given. They just announced that our next generation electrical architecture will be launching in 2028. So a brand new type of car with a new streamlined, efficient design. And everyone knows internally, like we're so far behind, we're probably not going to deliver. But Mary Barley goes, yes, you are. And if you can't, you're gone. And our SVP just said, I'm out. And it's like, this is what, like,
It's corporate America.
it's corporate America, basically.
So, I mean, it sucks to see. Like, I'm not so naive to realize that, like, this isn't going to, bleed into the entertainment world. And, like, the stories I love, it's not going to bleed into it because we need the business people to be able to make the art. So, I don't
Yeah.
want to get rid of the business people.
Sure.
I just wish that, like, you could have your cake and eat it too. Because
Yeah,
I feel
I
like that's
love
what
it.
Nintendo accomplishes,
Yeah.
right? And, like, it can be done. But is
Can
what
be
it
done,
is.
for sure.
We'll see what happens, right?
I'll say this: Nintendo has kept both Microsoft and Sony honest in the sense that, like you said, it's a direct comparison. You have competition that, while Nintendo has their own problems, they've done it right. So even if it's the same rehashed IP, they've kept those alive and relevant for a long time, and that's done for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think you can get upset about Nintendo for so many reasons, but you're still happy as a Nintendo fan.
Yeah, I'm
right?
overall so happy.
And I think Sony has generally kept its fans happy. I don't know. There's been some times I've been quite upset at Sony as well. But
I'll say this: as I've grown up, my main console went from Xbox to PlayStation to now Nintendo. It is wild
Really?
how that has happened, and I never thought that would have been the case.
So I went from loving the Xbox One, the Xbox original. I never had a PS2, and then I was an Xbox 360 fanboy, and then I clearly remember after Bungie left, I was like, screw this console. There's nothing exciting going on. There's Connect Fable, right? And so I turned into a massive PS3 like fanboy.
Yeah,
like,
I did too.
I love Killzone. I loved
Resistance.
Uncharted, Resistance. I completely jumped over, and I loved my PlayStation, and I loved it for quite a while, well into the PS4 era. But then for me, like, even though PS4 had a lot of great games, I was actually kind of unhappy with Sony because, like, man, Sony is doing a lot of like anti-gamer stuff, and that just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. And then I hopped back on board with Xbox, and now I'm kind of in this weird zone where like I like Xbox the most because I just love Game Pass, right? I think it's just revolutionized my gaming experience.
And cloud gaming.
And then after that, right now, I feel like I'm most happy with Nintendo.
Yes.
And with Sony, I'm just waiting,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm sure my rankings will change when Wolverine comes out and some of the other games. But I just feel like this generation with Sony, I have just been waiting.
Yeah, same.
After, God of War and Horizon, I've just been like, all right, any day now.
PS3 is my favorite generation, then 4, and there's a big gap between what I liked in both generations, and 5 just nothing.
So would you say right now it's fair to say that out of the three, the one who's peaking, so to say, is Switch?
Yeah, I think
I feel like they are in their prime.
Yeah, they're in their prime now. This has been it. Like, I thought the Wii was it, but no, it's the Switch.
It's amazing how Nintendo pulled that off. Like, they peaked in the Wii, they fell off, but they quickly fixed that, and then they peaked, and now they're peaking even more.
They're peaking more.
And I can't imagine them being more successful than what the Switch 2 is looking like right now, because this is crazy.
It's crazy.
So, all right, man. Anything else to talk about?
No.
Any exciting games coming out in November, right? So I guess it's just Call of Duty,
Kirby Air Riders, and Metroid Prime 4.
That's December, right?
December 4th and November 20th.
Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of going to be quiet rest of the year. Just going to be catching up on games. I am looking forward to Metroid. That's pretty much it. So,
all right, guys.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.